Hey, welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. We have got a lot going on in the Big Ten. It's Monday instead of Sunday because that gosh darn Super Bowl had to kick us out of there because we knew you all were partying. We knew you all were having a good time, eating buffalo chicken dip, drinking whatever it is you drink. I don't judge what you drink, whatever that might be. I personally had a Dr. Pepper, and it was very, very nice, and I enjoyed that. So I had a good time there. But other than that, Sonny, how was your Super Bowl Sunday, man?
It was good. It was one of my better betting Super Bowls I've had over the last
Oh,
few years. I thought my over was dead in the water coming into the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden, over 46 and a half, and that overtime comes through. So I ended up with a little extra change in my pocket today.
there you go. There you go. Kent, I know your Lions weren't in it, so I'm sorry about that, but did you still survive the Super Bowl?
It's funny. I'm in Central Time Zone, and my kids were all at friends' houses. I should say they were at different houses. But I looked up and the game was in the second quarter when I turned it on. I forgot that it was starting so early in my time zone. So
Yeah.
I could not care less. But just like Sonny, I actually live bet the Chiefs at halftime, and I won $100 on that. So I'm pretty happy too about the betting side of things.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, I know quite a few people were asking me if they should bet the proposal at the end of the game, and I said, heck no. There is no way Travis Kelce is proposing to Taylor Swift. And look at that. I was right. So, trust all your betting advice with me, somebody who hardly ever bets. I never really bet. So, but when I do bet, I get it right. So there we guys, we got a lot going on in the Big Ten to talk about. We have our award episode. We're going to make some predictions for awards. We're going to take into account maybe what we think will happen, but then also just a little bit what we think should happen. So it's not an exact science here. Give us a break if you disagree. It is what it is. People always disagree. Let us live. It's fine. Find us on Apple Podcasts, all those different places. Give us a rating and a review over there. If you're listening on YouTube, please do give us a like and subscribe. We appreciate that. We're not going to recap the entire weekend of the Big Ten, but just your general thoughts on stuff that happened this weekend. Wisconsin looked like they shouldn't have been on the court with Rutgers. Illinois was up late against Michigan State, and Michigan State did not look like anything Michigan State has looked like this season, and came back and won that game, and all kinds of other stuff. Northwestern had a good game this weekend. Iowa and Minnesota was fun to watch. Kent, did you have any thoughts from the weekend you want to share?
I forgot about the Minnesota. I'm so on Minnesota right now, and that was disappointing. That made me really sad. But yeah, man, Wisconsin, what is going on, man? This is insane now. I never thought they would lose 4 in a row. This is pretty crazy now. Panic button 100% pressed at this point. They got to figure stuff out. But on the other side of things, though, Michigan State, I feel like with one win, went from not in the tournament to they're for sure in, because they beat Illinois at home. And I don't know if everybody else believes that, but right after that game, I was like, all right, they're in now. It's over. They're definitely in. So those were the two games that stood out to me the most for different reasons, obviously.
Yeah, what do you think, Sonny?
I agree. I think those are the two key games. I'm not too upset about the Illinois game. I think, we have some issues that we have to figure out at the end of the game, but we were up a pretty decent amount on Michigan State. Michigan State's just a tough team at home. It's already tough to win on the road, so I'd be more concerned if I were a Wisconsin Badger fan. I've long said throughout the season that I didn't quite think that they were at the level of Purdue and Illinois, but I didn't think there were 4 in a row losses in a row bad either. So they've got to figure out a couple things, because now all of a sudden the fire guard army is slowly creeping back out, and you just have to hope that their confidence isn't shot right now.
Well, that's the thing. You have to look at it. Obviously, 4 losses in a row is never acceptable for a team that is contending for the Big Ten title. But let's also look at who those 4 losses were against. At Nebraska, which is just essentially unbeatable at home for most teams. I mean, not even Purdue could beat them at home. Creighton, I think, was the only team that beat them at home this year. They lost to Purdue. Nobody really beats Purdue, even though it's at home. That's a really tough game. Purdue does not lose very often. Michigan, yeah, that one, you definitely shouldn't have lost that.
Really
game.
bad. Really, really bad.
That was a very bad loss.
That was a very bad one, so I'll give you that. But like Rutgers with Jeremiah Williams, like they kind of took it to Purdue late. I mean, that was only what, an 8-point win for Purdue at the end of the game. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for them. And everybody knows I've been critical of Wisconsin. I've probably been one of the most critical people of Wisconsin on this show. But Sonny, don't you think like at a certain point, it's like, yeah, we knew it was coming eventually. They were going to lose some games. And if they're going to lose games on any stretch, this one is a little bit more forgivable.
But I think it's the manner in which that they lost. That game really wasn't very close at all at any point. You know, they were down 20 plus, you know, at one point and really barely, you know, made the score any closer. So I think that's what, if it was a, 5-point loss or an 8-point loss, but they were competing, that's one thing. But they kind of seemed lifeless. They didn't seem like they were into it. So that's why I'd be a little more concerned than normal.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think, Kit?
Yeah, same. Plus what you just said, the Michigan loss, like nobody should lose to them in this conference at all. That's how bad they are. So it's the back-to-back, like Michigan and then getting blown out by Rutgers, which like Rutgers is playing better, like as of the last, I would say, week and a half. So I'll give Rutgers some credit. Obviously, they deserve it. But I will not give Michigan credit, though. They are bad, and they just got lucky in that game, I think, against Wisconsin. So I think it's the back-to-back losses. Not even like you said, the first 2 out of the 4 weren't that bad, and you can kind of live with those. It's those 2 and the way that they lost them is what's really concerning at this point.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's the biggest thing, right, is losing big to Rutgers like that, a team that has been so proficient on offense as Wisconsin has been able to. You're right. The first 2 losses a little bit more acceptable, but losing to Michigan, losing to Rutgers, getting blown out is never really acceptable. Guys, Michigan and Illinois play tomorrow night. Is that a game, do we think, or is that like, it is what it is? Are you nervous, Sonny?
I'm always nervous, but I'm not as much nervous of losing the game as I am of breaking our streak of being 8-0 against Juwan Howard. That's just something that I can hold over my Michigan fans for the longest time, like when they were being handed the Big Ten title during that COVID year, despite having less wins than Illinois. So it's just been a program that I dislike by a great margin, and seeing Juwan Howard's downfall, doesn't sadden me a bit.
Amen, brother. Couldn't have said it better myself. Kent, what do you think? And Ohio State plays Wisconsin. Do we have any chance of Ohio State and Michigan doing really, really funny things tomorrow night?
Ohio State, yeah. Like, I mean, at this point, I don't know what we're going to get out of Wisconsin. Where's that game at? I didn't look at the schedule. I'm sorry.
At Madison in the Kohl Center, not the Coles.
Never mind. Probably not a chance. I don't know. I would be really surprised if Wisconsin lost that one after, like when Northwestern lost those 2 back-to-back games in a row, and then they came out and I think it was Nebraska right after that and played like one of their best games of the year and beat them by like 20 or whatever it was at home. That's what I'm expecting out of Wisconsin after this little slide that they have. But Illinois, though, they will for sure win. Like if you compare them to Wisconsin, it's a completely different team, and mainly defensively. Like they don't have breakdowns anywhere defensively in their lineup. Their guards guard really well, and their bigs are some of the best defenders in the conference. So that's what's definitely going to win the game from them, because Michigan has no continuity on offense, and I'm still surprised that they beat Wisconsin, even though Wisconsin's defense is not as good as Illinois. So I think Illinois will for sure win by a lot. I mean, I think the line is 17. I saw earlier tonight, so no shot.
Yeah, it's about the same line that Purdue and Indiana was, which. Yeah. I mean, we can talk about that game if we want, but I don't know if it's safe to talk about murder on YouTube or not.
No,
might make our ratings go down, but no, or up. The Purdue fan. We do have a lot of Purdue fans that watch. So we had, I forget who this was. Dick Stillack and said, "Boiler up." I mean, he posted this at 4:50. Today. I think that was like 2 minutes after I posted the stream or whatever. So
I'd like to think he was sitting there waiting the whole time too.
I want to know. Yeah, I want to think that he's still there.
And then, of course, Fisherman. Always appreciate an Ohio State fan that's willing to come in and listen to a basketball podcast. You're a real one, Fisherman. You're a real one. So, all right, guys, what do you say? We get to the juicy stuff. You want to get to some National Player of the Year talk or Big Ten Player of the Year talk?
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got to switch this up. Boom.
It might
All
be
right.
National Player of the Year for one of these guys, by the way.
Well, yes, one of these guys will certainly be the National Player of the Year. All right. Sorry, guys. I forgot to do this part of it. So let me put this here.
I'm talking about Tony Perkins, of course.
Yes, of course.
National Player of the Year.
There's nobody else that would make sense for that than Tony
Yeah.
Perkins. All right. Okay. I think I've got it all in there, all squared away. So you guys can all see it. Yes, Fisherman. Ohio State won in double overtime against a bad Maryland team. But yeah, I watched that game. That was fun to see the guys really excited like that. All right, guys. So let's get into it. The way this is going to work, people, is each of us are going to choose our top 3 for the Big Ten Player of the Year. We'll do this for every single award that we do. And then at the end, we'll kind of discuss each other's picks, and then we'll kind of come to a unanimous vote in this one. I think this is probably going to be the easiest unanimous vote to come to. However, I don't want to spoil it. So, Kent, you can go ahead and you can name whoever you want first.
Okay, so obviously my first guy is Zach Edey. You already have him highlighted. That's the biggest no-brainer. I actually didn't even write him down on my notes because I thought that I would just skip him, and I listed 3 other guys. But I put Terrence Shannon Jr. next. I think that I don't know.
I forgot to put him on here. How dare
How, dude? Come
The
on.
Big Ten Huddle hate on Illini continues.
I don't know.
Man,
Just
brutal.
keep talking. It's fine.
Okay.
Look, there he is, Sonny.
Man, and I did write down 4 guys, so like I have to pick between these 2. I think I'm going to lean towards Jameer Young as the next one, 21, 5, and 4. He's also sneaky good defensively. I don't think enough people talk about this. He's 11th in the conference in steals right now. So just kind of like I don't like that part of his game doesn't really stand out to me because he's so electric on offense, obviously, but pretty good defender as well. And also Terrence Shannon Jr., really good defender. That's why I picked those 2 guys.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll start with the easy one first. Zach Edey, I think, there's no way you can leave him off one of these lists. Boo Buie, I'm going to go with next. So, and I must preface here, I'm going to leave Terrence Shannon Jr. and Jameer Young both off my list. It's not because I don't think that they are deserving. I just think, number one, the Big Ten's not going to give this award to somebody who's missed time like Terrence Shannon Jr. has and who has the stuff looming over him. It's not exactly fair. We don't know what the results of everything will be. However, I just don't see it happening. And then, unfortunately for Jameer Young, his team I don't think they're good enough for them to warrant to give him the award. So I'm going to leave him off of there. And that's also part of the reason why I'm going to leave Tyson Walker off as well. I don't think Tyson Walker is going to win because I don't think he's up there as much. So if Wisconsin can turn it around, AJ Storr is going to be my other pick there. So again, this is a little bit more of kind of prediction on my part here, but at the end of the day, I think all 3 of these guys are deserving to be considered.
Let me ask you this, JR. Do you think because if I remember correctly, they do release how many votes each guy gets or second place votes and things like that, right? Do you think that knowing that Zach Edey is going to get it, do you think they'll vote Terrence Shannon Jr. higher based on what you were just saying? They're not going to give it to him, obviously, because he missed time, but maybe a lot of guys will vote him second knowing he's not going to get it.
That's possible. I wouldn't think – I don't know. That's a really good point. I haven't given that any thought. So let me think about that. Sonny, why don't you do your 3 and I'll think about that.
No brainer. Edey, number 1. I also have Boo Buie as my number 2 runner up. And for number 3, I had Shannon Jr. I'm going with the mindset of judging it on the court. Shannon's getting better every single game since he's been back. Now, really, all he's missing is his 3-point touch. And, lest we forget, before all this happened, he was in the running for National Player of the Year. I'm just kind of projecting it forward.
Nice. No, I like that. Now that I think about it, Kent, I do think you're right because I don't think they release the media's personal votes. I don't think they they say, oh, this person voted for them. And so I don't think there will be people that, would have their name attached to Terrence Shannon Jr. Again, this isn't exactly fair. I'm not saying this should happen. In any other normal circumstance, I would have Terrence Shannon Jr. on my list. But unfortunately, just whatever's going on has, kind of tainted that. So, gentlemen, Zach Edey, right? No
brainer.
I do want to say real quick though,
well.
JR, if I could,
Mm-hmm.
I did have Boo Booey next on my list. I just don't want people to think I'm an idiot because you guys both picked him and I didn't. He was the next guy I had listed.
No, I like it. I'm glad that we're giving some other guys. I would hate it if all three of us had the exact same three because it's like that's not really any conversation. But the fact that we all have some different ones, that's I like that. So yeah, I think we can move on now to the Defensive Player of the Year. Sonny, I totally forgot to change his name. So
I was like, I wish you took Eric's list. Yeah. I could have.
I know. He could help you out, huh? And I forgot to do that too. So I've kind of put this list together at the last minute. So if I left somebody off the list you guys have, it's okay. Like I just did with Terrence Shannon Jr. We'll make it happen. So Sonny, why don't you start us off with Defensive Player of the Year?
I have Ace Baldwin. I just think he changes the game the way he hawks at the ball, and I think he leads the Big Ten in steal. So I think that was an easy choice for me. I also have Cliff Omoruyi from Rutgers, and number 3 is Coleman Hawkins, Illinois.
You don't think Zach Edey will be up there?
He probably will,
okay.
But it's we'll see what your guys' list.
Okay. All right. Kent, give us your 3.
I'll put him first. I think Zach is the best defensive player as well. And it's not based on his stats. I just think that he does so much. He causes so much attention defensively. Like people have to scheme around him. So I'll put him number 1. I'll put Cliff number 2. And then, okay, I don't know. For the sake of the conversation, I'm going to just change it to Julian Reese, number 3. You have him on there? There he is.
Right here. Yeah, no, I agree. I actually am going to be a little bit of a mix of you guys. I love Ace Baldwin Jr. I love that pick, Sonny. I think he is just so energetic and brings so much to the defensive end. Not only that, but I feel like Penn State's defense, like overall, is better with him on the court, which is hard to do as a guard, right? Like you can make that impact as a rim protector, as a big, somebody like that. But I think Ace Baldwin Jr. makes that impact as a guard really, really well. My other one is Cliff Omoruyi. I think that Cliff, he's one of the best shot blockers in all of the Big Ten this year. Not just the Big Ten, all of the country as well. I think he's up there, in like top 5 or top 10 for blocks per game, stuff like that. And then my other one, I know that I was, beating the drum for Coleman Hawkins to be on the Defensive Player of the Year list for, the finalists or whatever nationally. I think he's right there on the edge for me, but I do have to give it to Zach Edey just because of how much he does overall change the game. And there's so much that you can't do on offense when you're coming into the half court because Zach Edey is down there. Everybody can complain all they want about 3 in the key, whatever, that kind of stuff. And I get it. It's annoying. However, at the end of the day, it's really, really tough. And you have to scheme up a lot just to get to the basket with him in the game. So, Sonny, what your Zach Edey response here? What you got?
I'm an Illinois fan, but I like Zach Edey. I have no issues with him. I like to troll the Purdue fan base with the whole referee thing, and I'm not one of those guys remotely who thinks he gets away with things on offense because he's tall. No, he's one of the most skilled big men offensively I've ever seen. I think defensively, it's a little bit different where, and again, don't get mad at me for saying this, Boilermaker fans. I just think a lot of it is kind of size. A fact, the guy's 7 foot whatever with long arms in the middle. The 3 guys I rated in my top 3, I think are more actually skillful, like, swiping at the ball, getting steals, or playing one-on-one. Whereas Zeddy, I think,
is just big.
Or Edey, sorry, is just... Again, offensively, super skilled. Defensively, he's a good defensive player, but a lot of the scheming and everything, the reason teams don't attack the hoop is because there's a very large individual down there. And that's kind of why, again, I respect the guy, but I just don't have him in my top 3.
I see it. Here's kind of my rebuttal. Because I see it, that's part of the reason why I also left Coleman Hawkins off my list. As much as and I feel like I'm the only one saying this, I really like Coleman Hawkins. I'm not even an Illinois fan. I think that, his antics on the court and stuff like that, I know it annoys people, but I just love the passion and how hard he wants every single call and all these things. I think LeBron's kind of whiny with it. So that's why I don't like when he does it. But I think a lot of it comes from Coleman's passion and stuff. But the part for me with Coleman is I do feel like sometimes when you get a really good offensive big, they can kind of get more of what they want than maybe some other bigs let them have. Coleman's not the best rim protector and stuff like that. Now he's versatile, super versatile, and I think that's a fantastic part of his game. Like I said, I was vying for Coleman Hawkins to be on National Defensive Player of the Year list because I think he deserves to be up there. However, at the end of the day, I do think there's a weakness in his game that does take him out of the top 3 in my Big Ten. So, Kent, you have any thoughts on Coleman or go ahead, Sonny?
Yeah, I'm just going to rebuttal that slightly.
Okay, go ahead.
The difference is Coleman Hawkins can guard 1 through 4 on the court. Like he will, if the opposing point guard tries to get by him, he can guard him, not a problem. Coleman is a 4 being forced to play a 5 because Illinois doesn't have any centers. So yeah, if you're talking about the one guy that Coleman can't guard is the guy who's going to be 3-4 inches bigger, 40 pounds heavier. But I'd like to see Zach Edey try to guard Boo Buie and Boo Buie trying to break him down. Boo Buie's going to go right around him. He's not going to go right around Coleman Hawkins. So for me, I like Coleman's versatility in guarding 1 through 4, as opposed to Edey obviously being dominant, but he's just guarding one position.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think it's fair to say Coleman Hawkins has a weakness in his game, but Zach Edey has a weakness in his game as well because Zach Edey he can't play on-ball defense like Coleman Hawkins can. Not saying he can't play on-ball defense on the perimeter. He just can't play it like Coleman Hawkins can. Kent, where do you stand on all of this?
Yeah, I left him off my list because I thought for sure you'd put him on there because pretty much everyone on social media and places that I listen to and things like that about Big Ten basketball have pretty much given Coleman Hawkins the award already, I feel like. So just for the sake of conversation, I left him off the list, but I actually do think he is going to win it. And to Sonny's point, made a really good point. He can guard so many other positions, but Zach Edey is a big human being, and I still think that teams, to me, if I had to pick one guy to start my defense with, I'm still going to start it with Zach Edey because you have to do so many different things to scheme around what he is, even if he isn't as athletic as Coleman Hawkins because of how big he is. So I still think he is the best defensive player, but I do think that Sonny makes great points. I think that Coleman Hawkins is a more versatile defensive player, and I also think that he's the one that is going to win the award. I also feel like when I was making my list, I was just thinking about bigger guys, but I just pulled up like the history of this award. It's been a good mix of big guys and guard play, so it'll be interesting. I think it'll go to a bigger guy this year, but it is interesting looking back how many guards have won this award.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Chase Audige and Caleb McConnell last year were co-defensive players of the year. So we could end up in a situation like that. The only reason I wouldn't predict that Coleman Hawkins would win the award is because he was left off the National Defensive Player of the Year list. I feel like there is something out there that is keeping him from, being on that list from the media or whoever it might be. And so it's hard for me to predict a guy to win the Defensive Player of the Year award in the Big Ten when there were 3 or 4, I forget if Reese was on there or not, guys from the Big Ten on that list, and Coleman Hawkins wasn't. So I'm going to sound like a hater. I know. I think Coleman Hawkins is fantastic, and I think that he's definitely in the mix. But unfortunately, I just don't know how he wins it when he's off that other list. So, all right, guys. So we all agree Clifford Mourier?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only guy we all picked.
I still think Ace is going to win it, but yeah, I'm fine with that. He's the
So who's your prediction then, Ken? If you, other than Coleman Hawkins, if we're leaving him out of it, who is your prediction?
I mean, like I said, I was only thinking about big guys. I don't know why I was doing that, so I don't mind leaning with you guys and going with Ace Baldwin.
Okay,
that's fine with me.
I'd be okay either way with Ace or Cliff.
Let's do Ace then. You guys both picked him first, right?
Okay.
Is that how you guys did it? You ranked him first, so you said his name first?
Yeah, some of it was that. Some of it was
Okay.
also just I like him the best. So I have a little bit of bias, I guess. All right, let's go to freshman of the year, and I'll change this again because I was dumb. So going into the year, I'll do my three first. Going into the year, I thought Mackenzie Mbako was going to make a much bigger impact than he has this season, and I'm not saying that he hasn't, but he's also not been on a great team. So I'm actually going to leave Mackenzie Mbako off mine. I put Damask on here. He's not a freshman. I'm going to put John Blackwell in there for me. Another one I'm going to put in there is Cam Christie. And then the other one is Owen Freeman. I think all three of these guys have a very good shot of winning the award, and I can definitely see that happening. Sonny, who are your three?
I have Freeman as my number one. I have M'Baku. And
Mbako. There it is.
And then I have Blackwell.
And then Blackwell. So you disagree with me. You thought Mbako. Okay. All right. I can see it. Kent, who are your three?
I have Cam Christie number one. Owen Freeman number two. And like I said, I just like to mix it up with this third pick. Someone you don't have on there, I'm going to say if he played more minutes, he could have been the freshman of the year, is Cohen Carr.
Oh, okay. This isn't the right name, but I'll type it since it has the right background.
And I don't know why he's not playing more still to this day.
Well, Tom Izzo's kind of.
I think he could have had enough highlights to open enough people's eyes to how good he is at basketball, but he's just not on the floor enough.
Yeah. I mean, that makes a big difference.
I'm still going to say his name, though. I'm going to put his name out there, though, because I think he deserves it. He doesn't deserve the award, but I think he deserves to be mentioned as one of the guys that will be that class's better players when all is said and done.
Right. He deserves recognition for being very good as a freshman, even though he's not got the time. So, all right, Sonny, you left Cam Christie off. Both me and Kent had him. What are your thoughts on Cam Christie? He was number 4 for me.
Yeah, no, he was my number 4. Literally, I'm looking at my list. Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah. I don't know. Mackenzie Mbako, I don't know. I don't feel like he's been the superstar this year that IU fans kind of hoped he was. I saw it at the beginning of the year, and I said, you know what? He's going to get better. He's going to improve. And he has improved, but I just don't know if he's improved quite to that level of freshman of the year. Guys, we all agree on Owen Freeman. Do we think that's the number one?
I mean, hasn't he won like 7 or 8 weeks Big Ten Freshman of the Week?
I think he has the most Big Ten Freshman of the Week awards, yeah.
It depends. It depends on if the voters are like, I mean, for us, yeah, we can pick him, but I think it's going to depend on if the voters have some like recency bias, because I think Cam Christie's played better lately. So if they're just thinking about like what's happened like the second half of the season, they should for sure vote for Cam Christie. But overall season, if they actually look at the body of work, then they'll probably vote for Owen Freeman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Overall body of work, entire season, Owen Freeman is the guy. If you look at recently coming to his own and been more of a star player, it's kind of Cam Christie. So, yeah, I guess that is really hard to decide. What do you think, Sonny? Do you think the voters will go with overall body of work, or do you think they'll go with kind of explosive player at the end?
I mean, I think it's going to be Freeman. I think wasn't Christie, didn't he have like 4 shots the other day or something like that? I think he's still prone to an off day here and there. I think just these writers might just be a little lazy, and if they've already been penciling in Freeman all these weeks, they just might, it might be muscle memory for them at this point at the end of the year to just kind of list him there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So are we good with Owen Freeman? We all three have him, and all right.
I think we should email the Big Ten after this show too, and like this should count as at least one vote.
I like that.
100%.
I like that.
I'll do that.
Our votes that we made before the season was even over. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. So I do have to embarrass myself for a second because I know people like when I embarrass myself. But my top 5 freshmen going into the season, Mackenzie Mbako, wasn't a terrible pick, right? I mean that's respectable. He was up there,
especially preseason.
Yeah, preseason.
That makes sense.
My next one was Deshaun Harris-Smith. That was bad.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad. Who was my next one? It was Scotty Middleton from Ohio State, which he got hurt lately, but he still wasn't great. Wasn't great this season. My next one was Gavin Griffiths.
Oh, I thought you were about to click on Gabe
Harry Potter.
Cupps.
No. I'm so glad I did not click on Gabe Cupps. That would have been really, really embarrassing. And then my next one was Xavier Booker. So
I think it's funny that you put George Washington III on here. He's played 6 minutes this year.
I'm trying to put one freshman from every team.
Oh, okay.
And,
hey, one other guy though. I'm going to mention this before we go to the next one. Just like I said about Cohen Carr, I think that Miles Colvin's going to be really good. He just can't get on the court right now because his team is so good. But I love the way he plays. For the limited amount of time he has played this year, he's going to be one of my favorites. I can tell already. He's good.
Well, it's hard to get on the floor when you have, Smith, Fletcher, Jones, Heidi. I know I'm missing somebody else on Purdue that is there, but it's hard to get that. Sonny, have you been disappointed with Amani Hansberry this season?
No, not really. You kind of see what Brad's trying to do. We missed him for the last couple weeks because he's really the only big body that we have. But when he does come in, he does his role of grabbing rebounds, and it's hard for freshman big men to adjust to the physicality. So I have high hopes for him in the future. I think our front court next year is going to be very young and very talented, and so I think he's still got a very bright future for the orange and blue.
Yeah, no, he does. You're right. It's just kind of the way things have gone so far this season. So, all right, any more thoughts before we move on? No. All right.
This award will be fun next year, especially for Rutgers fans, I think. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
They're going to have a good time for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So this is not an award that the Big Ten actually gives out. There's other awards like Sportsmanship of the Year. I don't know. It's good that they give that, but that's boring to talk about. It's like this guy was the nicest all season long. So I switched the Sportsmanship of the Year to the Transfer of the Year. So we'll talk about who we think has been the best or the most impactful, however you want to describe it, transfer so far this year. Kip, why don't you start us off?
Man, this is the one I didn't write down, so I'm glad you got some names on this list. I'm just going to pick my favorite 3 guys. I'll go with Lance Jones, unreal.
Yep.
I will go with AJ Storr. And let's see. Man, this is going to be tough. I guess Rink Mast, number 3. Sorry, I was trying to read all those names really quickly. What did I miss, Sonny? I'm sorry.
I thought this was a no-brainer. What?
Did I miss something?
We'll see. We'll see what JR says.
Okay, so I wrote
just
down.
looked at the list, so don't. If I miss somebody, I'm sorry.
We'll see. Maybe I thought this was one of the easier ones.
There's who you missed.
Is that who you were thinking?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wrote down 5 names. Domask was one of them. Also Storr, because I had him on my National Player of the Year, and I get it. Purdue fans, you're gonna hate me, and that's fine. I'm actually gonna leave Lance Jones off of mine just because I don't think he's been as impactful for his team as some other players have. And I know that sounds like sacrilegious because everybody talks about how good Lance Jones is, and I agree. He's very, very good. He's been one of the best additions in the Big Ten. But I'm actually going to go with Rink Mast as my number 3 guy. So our only difference there, Kit, is Lance Jones. Sonny,
I apologize. I missed this one before we started recording.
All good, man. All good.
I probably would have wrote him down if I actually spent 5 minutes thinking about it, but I was just randomly picking names.
No worries. Okay, yeah, definitely Marcus Domask. I think it's a no-brainer. I shudder to think where Illinois would be without him this year. He's just been kind of the anchor for our team this year. Number 2, I also have AJ Storr as my number 2 guy. And number 3, I kept going between 3 guys, and you actually listed my 3rd guy. Mass was Mast was also one of the guys I have, but I'm going to go with Ace Baldwin Jr. again, just to bring some other teams into it, and he's kind of the exciting spot for a team that really isn't doing much this year.
What did you guys think of Kalel Ware? Because I mean, he's an NBA talent. He's an NBA player. Do you think he's just off the list because Indiana's not very good, or what do you guys think of him?
I mean, the two guys I had was Mast and Lance Jones. So for me, for that third spot, I was kind of picking between those three. Ware will be just fine. He'll be collecting paychecks in a year or two. So, but I like my guys a little bit better.
I've not done a great job of paying attention to the chat, but I see Michael.
Michael, crazy.
Yes, I know. Michael, I am so sorry. Again, I'm not saying that Lance Jones has not been impactful. I just think there's other guys like Marcus Dumask, who has basically had to step in and be the star for this Illinois team with Terrence Shannon Jr. out. AJ Storr has been the scoring piece that Wisconsin has needed for their offense to be able to make them work this year, even though it hasn't worked out great in the last 4 games. And then Rank Mast, I have an affinity and an unhealthy likability with Rank Mast, and I just cannot deny him. So I apologize for leaving Lance Jones off. If it would have done 5, he would have been on there. But I see where you're coming from, and yes, I am crazy. So Kent, what do you think about some of the guys like Ace Baldwin and you already said Marcus Domas, some of the other guys that you left off your list?
It depends on how you want to give this award. It's like, do you want to give it to the guy that you think is the best player, or like Sonny was saying, like the guy that's the most impactful for his team? Because if it's the latter, then you do have to pick Domask. But I don't know. It's tough. So, because like AJ Storr could do that, I feel like, for Illinois a little bit. I mean, Khalil Ware, like you said, is a really good player, but he's on a terrible team, so he's not impactful at all. So, and then Lance Jones, like, he doesn't really he stands out for Purdue. Everybody knows who Lance Jones is. He's such a good player, but I think Purdue would still be good if they didn't have him, though. They wouldn't be as good. They'd probably have a few more losses because of the plays that he's made in some of those close games. But it kind of depends on how you want to like word it for who you're giving it to. So how are we wording this award, JR?
Michael, I'm not trying to pick on you, but this is why I have trouble dealing with Purdue fans. Can you highlight his latest comment?
No,
you got it. That's one. Not saying Marcus hasn't been good at Illinois, but where would Purdue be if it wasn't for Lance? In my opinion, he's the team MVP for Purdue this year, not the national player of the year that's sitting in the middle. I mean, again, he was number 4 or 5 on my list, depending on where you put it. But I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. Autistic.
No, I think that's fair. It's it is what it is. And I get, like you said, I get where Purdue fans are coming from. Purdue fans are very passionate, and I love Purdue fans. But I think it's fair to say that Marcus Domask has helped his team be where they are today more than Lance Jones has. You agree with that, Kent?
Yeah, and it's funny. I was looking at this whole list. There's a lot of guys. It's scary to think where their teams would be without them.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
On this whole list, like even like Iowa, like Ben Krikke is pretty important for them. Like they would be even worse if he didn't come help them out a little bit. They'd be really bad. So and like Langborg, like there's a lot of guys on here that are like, I love the transfer portal. I love that guys are switching teams every year, man. It makes it so much fun.
It does. Love you, Michael. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. But
Michael, I picked Lance Jones, by the way. It's at Casual Big Ten on Twitter. Come give me a follow. Tell all your friends. All right.
No, Michael's a part of a lot of the same communities as I am, so he's a familiar face. So obviously, that's the only reason I felt comfortable saying this.
There we go, Michael. I like Michael a lot. I see him on a Voice of College Football. Sonny, I respect you and your opinion, but where do you think that Purdue would be without Lance? And I like Marcus, and I can't wait to see him on March 5th. And I hope that we can meet up. So maybe you guys will be at the game together.
We've exchanged comments before. Without Jones, they'd still be in first. It would probably just be closer. Illinois would be closer, but I still think they'd be in first place. If Marcus Domask wasn't here those 3 weeks where Shannon was dealing with his issues, Illinois would be floundering right now. So
Sonny, you're Austin's here letting us know Damask numbers are far better than any others. Yes.
I don't.
Last time I
doesn't
checked.
read Austin to me.
Oh, I thought that said Austin. Whoops, sorry. I thought that said Austin. I immediately
Austin
went to your
Berkster.
co-host. Yes. All right. Any more comments on transfer of the year options before we move on, guys?
Yeah, we should put. It's definitely Damask, but I just want all the Purdue fans to know that I fought for Lance Jones to get this, like big time. I really thought it should be Lance Jones. So
you're happy with this, Sonny?
Yes, I'm very happy.
Yeah. I figured you would be. All right. This is actually probably my favorite award of the year. The all year to do the 6th Man of the Year award. I just think it's so fun to think of, the guys who come off the bench and stuff like that, who really make an impact. And sometimes the guy that comes off the bench is actually better than some of the other starting lineup guys. And, they bring a portion of energy and stuff like that to the team that really helps them, kind of get through some of the bumps in the road and stuff like that. So Sonny, we'll let you go first on this one. Who are your 3 picks for 6th Man of the Year?
So I like my first pick, and the other 2, it could be a plethora of guys. I think CJ Wilker is going to win it, so he's my number 1. And then ultimately what I went with as my number 2 and 3 were Mason Gillis and John Blackwell.
John Blackwell. Okay. All right. I can't really argue with that. Kent, who are your 3?
Is Pharrell Payne still 6th? Like, is he coming off the bench still?
Yeah, so he does technically. I think he's like right on the edge. So 6th Man of the Year has to play less than 50% of the entire games played, or you have to start less than 50% of your entire games played. And I checked, and he's like a game or 2 shy. So kind of depends on the rest of the season, but right now he is technically eligible.
Good to know. I'm gonna go with Steven Izzo first. Just kidding. No. I'm just kidding. Don't put him on.
I'm leaving him there until you get the other ones, just for you. So give me your other 3, and then I'll erase them.
I do like Wilcher a lot, but I'm gonna switch just to for fun, guys. Let's do Sam Hoiberg instead. I love Sam Hoiberg. I think he's awesome. Wilcher's obviously more important to the team, so that's a better pick, Sonny. But I'm gonna just say someone else. I'll go Pharrell Payne next, though, for real. Like, he's legit. Dude's a monster. I'm not leaving. You have to take Izzo off immediately.
I will. Here's your
okay.
3rd.
And then I'm going to go. Man, where's he at? Is he on here? Is Gillis on here?
Yeah, he's right here.
Okay, there he is. Okay, yeah. Gillis. Yeah. We'll do that.
Yeah. So for the record, my 3 are actually the same exact 3 as Sonny's, but I am going to pick a few different guys just to give some love to some other players. I'll pick Luke Goody because I did feel like he filled in really well when Terrence Sharon Jr. was gone, and he is still filling in well coming off the bench. I am also going to pick, where is he at? I don't see him. Oh, there he is. John Blackwell. So that one's the same as yours, Sonny. And then just for kicks and giggles, Nick Martinelli. I just love when he plays and when he gets in. So, again, these are not actually my 3. If you want my 3, just look at Sonny's list right here. But I think it's a little bit more fun for us to talk about some other guys as well. Sonny, you don't Luke Goody, not in your top 3. You're an Illinois fan. Come on.
Well, once we get to the all Big Ten first team, my Illinois fandom will come out. So, yeah, no, I mean, he's good, and he's a great role player for what he does. But I like the 3 guys I picked. I think they're a little bit more valuable.
Yeah, no, for sure. Kent, so you said you actually do believe in CJ Wilcher more than Sam Hoiberg.
Yeah.
But
I do like Sam, though. I just want him to know, in case he's listening, that I am a big fan of his. But yeah, CJ Wilcher is obviously like a more important player for Nebraska than Sam is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I had to pick, Wilcher's my pick too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do really like Pharrell Payne. There's a lot of guys on here. This is like you were saying, this is also one of my favorite categories because I like the guys that are like contributing a lot but don't get a ton of the credit. Those are like my favorite guys to follow. That's why such a big Tony Perkins fan because no one really ever talks about him except me. So this is a really fun category. I really love Pharrell Payne. I think he's legit. But I think it's CJ Wilcher.
Well, I remember when I was doing some of my like 6 man of the year power rankings at the beginning of the season, like in my top 8, I would have like 3 different Minnesota players because they do so many different starting lineups and bring so many different guys in. You know, Cam Christie was up there for a while. I think he has too many starts now. And then Pharrell Payne, Mike Mitchell Jr. Mike Mitchell Jr. is actually second on the team in minutes, and he hardly even starts, which is crazy to think about. But
yeah, I was surprised to see his name on here as well. Like I thought he was in the. Both of those guys from Minnesota, I thought were starters. I didn't really.
Yeah, maybe they switched the lineup so much. It's crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's another guy too that's not. I don't think he's listed, but for Michigan State, Trey Holloman's been playing really good for them. He didn't play very well against Illinois the other day, but he's had some big minutes for them that like has won them a few games. Well, they haven't won that many games, I guess, but he's been playing pretty good for them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He's another guy that is worth mentioning.
Did I put that right? Is it 3 O's? I think so.
Who could know?
If not, I apologize, Trey, if you're watching out there. Come on the podcast and do an interview, and you can tell us how to correctly spell your name. Am I crazy to have put certain guys on here? I'll go ahead and list a few of them. Am I crazy to have put Zed Key, Will Cheddar, or Jamie Kaiser Jr.? Are those guys crazy to put on as even options?
Like Cheddar is not crazy to put on there because he does so well with the minutes that he gets, except for if you look at their record, like he's crazy to put on there because they suck so bad. So, the other guys I think are okay to have on there. I don't know. What do you think, Sonny?
What do you think, Sonny?
I mean, you got to have like a list of 20 guys, and they're one of the 20 best. So I think you're safe.
Okay. All right. The mob won't come after me. So. Just Michael when I don't talk about Lance Jones. Just kidding, Michael. Just kidding. All right, so this one's going to be kind of hard to pick. I think if I had, like I said, my 3 are kind of the same 3 as Sonny's here. So, Kent, if you had to pick CJ Wilcher, Mason Gillis, or John Blackwell, who's your pick out of those?
Probably Wilcher. Purdue gets enough awards. I'm switching now. Now I'm against him.
He's going
to spite them.
I just fought for Lance Jones, Purdue. You guys can't have everything.
Lance Jones, you can come on for an interview, but not Mason Gillis.
Yeah. Mason Gillis, like, not to get sidetracked, but I would not want to talk. He seems super boring. Doesn't he?
I mean, he seems like he beat me up, but
yeah, he could. He could for sure beat me up, but he does seem boring though.
What do you think, Sonny? Mason Gillis boring or not?
He makes me nervous. Yeah.
Like, it could be conceived as like an insult, but I don't think it is. I think that's a compliment that all 3 of us get nervous thinking about it. So, no, he's one of the best. If there was like a glue guy award, he would probably be my pick for glue guy in the Big Ten so far this season, which is kind of like 6 man of the year, but it's also kind of like you can be a starter as well. But there's just something about Mason Gillis that kind of keeps the whole Purdue team together in a few different ways that I really, really like. So, all right, guys, any more thoughts on 6 man of the year before we move on? No? All right. Our last one. So this is our all Big Ten first team. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to give our 5, and then if we have any extra that we want to mention at the end, I left 3 spots there. We can list them. I just basically did the same as the player of the year options. If there's any on there that we want to add or anything like that, I can quickly add them. But to save time, I didn't want to make a whole nother list that had a lot of the same names again. So let's go one at a time here. In that way, we don't have to spend so much time on one person. I'll start us off.
Can we just get Edie out of the way?
Yeah. All 3 of us?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm glad Derek agrees as well.
Jeez. and why? Sorry, Sonny.
I'm just...
and then they're all coming off the screen as well. So I didn't have time to test this before. On my Ohio State.
Oh, there's Doug McDaniel. Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
I got him. Don't worry. I got him. My second guy's going to be Boo Booey. Sonny, who's your second?
Boo Booey's on my list, so we'll
Same.
put him on.
Okay. All right. Getting pretty easy here. All right, my third one is AJ Store. He's going to be on mine. Sonny, who's your third one? Probably an Illinois player.
Yeah, so I mean, I have 8 guys, and I'm very curious to see if either of you pick anyone outside these 8. But Store was on my list, but he's not there, so I'm going to put.
Okay.
I'm going to put Terrence Shannon.
Oh, I forgot to put him on here too. Whoops. Sorry, Terrence Shannon Jr. All right. Who's your third guy there, Kit?
I'll copy and paste that one because he's my fourth guy, but it doesn't matter what order it's in.
Okay. All right.
Does
that
it?
makes sense. No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go with Marcus Domask in mind. So, Sonny, who's your fourth?
Jameer Young. I just think he's a fun player to watch. I know that team is very, very bad, but he isn't. He's very, very good.
Yeah. No, he's amazing. Kent, who's your fourth?
Jameer Young.
Yeah.
We have the exact same list.
So far, so good. I actually do have Jameer Young later on mine, so I might as well just go and put him since I already have him on mine. All right, Sonny, who's your next one?
All right. Hear me out. I don't think Shannon's going to make the all-league #1 team, despite his stats being there, because of the drama that he's had to deal with off the court. I think in his place, you have to pick between Shannon or Damask, one of those guys. So that's why I just put Shannon, because I think he's our best player. But I also think, and this is just me giving respect to how important he was to this team this year, Damask is my 5th guy. So I've got 2 Illini guys there.
That's actually why I put Damask too. Is same stuff as National Player of the Year. I just feel like Damask is probably more likely than a Terrence Shannon Jr. because of that stuff. All right, Kit, who's your 5th one?
I am going to go with Dawson Garcia.
Ooh, I do like Dawson Garcia. Very good player. All right, I feel like I can't leave him off, so I have to put him on eventually. Tyson Walker, fantastic player. I'm not really doing the whole my first 5 or all of my 5. I'm just kind of randomly putting my guys on there as I look down to them. So,
well, you can
who's your next one?
That one because he was one of my 8.
Okay. All right, who's your next one, Kent? Slayton. Oops.
I'm keeping it simple for you, man.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, so I know, kill me, fine, put me at the stake. Braden Smith.
Copy
I
paste.
think Braden Smith is one of the best guards in all of the nation, not just the Big Ten. Kent?
I'm not putting him on my list, man. I'm a Braden Smith hater. I've been on this show talking about it before.
All right.
I don't know why. Maybe it's because I like Lance Jones. Purdue fans, don't forget, I love Lance Jones a lot. Tony Perkins, next on my list.
Yeah, I thought you might be going there.
Can't go. I cannot not have him on my list.
All right. I'm trying to make sure. I just realized I wrote down 9 names, and so I'm trying to make sure I have all 8 of mine. But that's what it was. I was so guard heavy. I wrote down an 8th one. All right. So I know this, he's probably not actually on first team, and that's fine. I get it, but he's been really, really good this year, and he just kind of gets overlooked because his team is bad. So give me Malik.
That's a good pick. I like that.
Sonny?
It's the 8th guy I had was AJ Store. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I was so busy copy pasting that I forgot to do that one.
Makes sense. Kent, who's yours?
I'm just going to do somebody different. Not necessarily. I think the 8th best player in the conference, but I'll put another Minnesota guy on there. I'll put Elijah Hawkins.
Man, Elijah Hawkins is so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's really good. But I really like, for the record, I like your Malik Renew pick, and I like AJ Store a lot too. So it was tough not to put those 2 guys on.
No, I appreciate you even giving love to guys.
Just mixing it up
Minnesota
a bit.
Guys and stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
Show some other guys some love.
I like it. All right, so very first one, we can all agree Zach Edey, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The big man spot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so our first guard, we all 3 put Boo Buie first. We all agree Boo Buie is the first guard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was actually so I did mine like a lineup. Is that not how that we were kind of talking about this before we started recording or going live?
Yeah. I mean,
Do they not do like a lineup? I'm looking at last year's that you have on the screen.
so
It's
they have at least one big man or at least one guard. Like they can go 4 forwards and one guard, or they just don't normally put like full forwards at every single spot. So as long as you have like one guard in there or one forward in there, which that's kind of what the Big Ten has done for a little bit, is put like a guard, a center, and 3 forwards in there. So, but
nice.
I think the guards are better this season than some other seasons. So I think might get a more even thing. So
if we kept it to 3 guards, then let's do that and then pick another. We're picking a forward. Then is that what you're saying?
Picking a what?
Are we going to pick a center, a forward, and then 3 guards? Is that what we're going to do? You think?
Either 2 guards or 3 guards or 2 forwards or 1 forward is fine.
Okay.
Whatever you guys think.
I think that we have more guards that deserve to be on the team than forwards. So I think we should have 3 guards, 1 forward, and then Zach Edey.
Is that what you think, Sonny?
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what we should do? You know what the Big Ten should do? If you win Player of the Year, you can't be on first team all Big Ten because you're the Player of the Year. You can't be on the team and be the Player of the Year. We should kick Zach Edey off.
I think that's why they do second team, though.
No, he's just not on a team. He's just by himself because he's the Player of the Year.
Okay.
New rule.
I thought I was a Purdue hater. They're going to come after you after this show.
Lance Jones. I love Lance Jones. Don't forget, guys.
I'm afraid to even post the graphic of your picks now.
No, I'm just saying that would be fun, though, because it would open up a new spot for somebody. Like, obviously, the Player of the Year is going to be on first team. What's that?
For social media, that would be so much fun. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so second guard, what do we think? Braden Smith, Tyson Walker, or Jameer Young?
I think it's Young.
Yeah, Jameer.
You guys think so? All right, we'll do Young. He deserves some credit. His team's so awful. Give him some credit. He's about the only him and Juju like the only good. I don't want to trash him.
And he has to spend a lot of time with Kevin Willard, which that sucks for him.
Which, if you ask the Maryland fans, they feel the same way right now. So, all right. So third guard, what do we think? Tyson Walker or Braden Smith?
Or, yeah,
Tony Perkins. Or Tony Perkins. There you go, Kent.
I mean, Braden Smith probably deserves it more just based on his stats, but you gotta have 2 Purdue guys on first team. I don't know. I don't like having multiple guys from the same team. So my vote is for Tyson Walker.
I agree. I mean, Michigan State's kind of turned their season around, and he's a big part of it. So I think Tyson Walker deserves some mention here.
And I think like the part that does it for me is like even on the defensive end, like they trust Tyson Walker to be the best like defending guard and stuff like that. Not that Braden Smith is not a bad, or that's not that he's not a good defender. I think he is better than some people give him credit for, but he's not relied on like that. So at least I've seen. So all right, forward we got AJ Storr, Malik Renew, Dawson Garcia, Terrence Shannon Jr., Marcus Domask. Sonny, I think I know what your pick is, right? Domask.
I mean, it's Shannon or Damask.
Yeah.
If I'm not gonna cancel the other one out, if I'm not gonna say Shannon, you both say Damask. Like, we got to pick someone else now. No, whichever lineup you guys want, I'm okay with.
What do you think, Kent? Damask?
I think it should be Terrence Shannon Jr. I think he's.
All right, we'll give him some love since the other one.
But based on what you said, like they might not put him on theirs, but for us, we don't have to follow those rules though. Like I think he should be on first team All Big Ten this year. He deserves it.
Yeah, we'll say screw the media this time. This is our lineup. So, all right, if you're in the chat or commenting after the fact, put it in the comments. Let us know what you think. We know that some of you will, be very upset and probably get mad at us, and that's fine. It is what it is. But just know we had fun putting this together. Sonny, any more thoughts on the first team or just the awards overall before we get out of here?
Shockingly, I think we actually did a pretty good job. Kind of thinking back to our lists, I think Kent's onto something. We need to submit this to the actual NCAA and have this count on the official ballot.
Should I DM the Big Ten?
Yes.
I think you should, yeah.
Yes. We definitely put more time into this than the people that are actually voting are going to. There's no doubt about that.
That's true. And we can submit the live stream and show them proof. Like,
yeah,
hey, we spent an hour on this.
Like, look, we actually worked hard on this.
Actually, over an hour. It's over an hour right now. So,
And then they're like, you had Steven Izzo on the list there for a second. This is disqualified.
I'll edit that part out, I guess. I don't know. All right. Any more final thoughts, Kip, before we get out of here?
No, man, I don't have any final thoughts. I'm sorry. I usually have some stuff prepared for you, man. It's been a busy week. Oh, my daughter's team is undefeated still. Did we talk about that yet?
No, we should put her on first team.
Yeah, she is definitely in her elementary school. She is definitely on first team. My daughter is. Scored 10 of our 20 points in our last game. So, yeah, she's having a great year.
What would be
Tournament is not this week, but next week. So, in 2 weeks, I'll give you an update.
What would be your Big Ten player comp for her?
Oh man, that's a great question. Probably like Malik Renew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's
So
scrappy.
She's not a guard. Okay.
Yeah, she gets down low and does the dirty work. Yeah, she's tough,
Nice.
man.
I like that.
I'll live stream that game for you guys. You guys can come. Here's what we'll do. I'll live stream it, and you guys, because I'm coaching her team, so I can't be a commentator, but you two can be the commentators for the game. Do you guys mind doing that next Saturday?
I like it.
I like it.
Sounds good.
Very good. All right. So just to recap, all the people who will inherently have problems with our picks. We have Boo Booey, Jameer Young, Tyson Walker, Terrence Shannon Jr., Zach Edey, Sixth Man of the Year. We have CJ Wilcher, after giving much credit to a lot of different players. Transfer of the Year, we have Marcus Domask. Freshman of the Year, we have Owen Freeman. Defensive Player of the Year, we have Ace Baldwin Jr. And then Player of the Year, we had probably the most obvious pick ever that anybody with eyes could pick, and that's Zach Edey. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Like I said, let us know in the comments what you think. Give us all your awards. Don't just say, oh, you guys were stupid about this. No, you give us all of your awards. Transfer of the Year, Freshman of the Year, National Big Ten Player of the Year, First Team, all that stuff. Defensive Player of the Year. Give us every single one of the people that you would pick in the comments, and we'd love to hear you on that. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you, Kent, for coming on. Appreciate you both. Have a good one.